So we are camped here at the Bluewater Key RV Resort, which is in Key West, just north of Key West, in an area called the Saddle Bunch Keys. It's actually a good 25 minutes north of Key West, kind of between Big Pine Key and Key West. And just wanted to show what our site looks like and what this place looks like. So this is all owned lots. So private people own these lots, and some are full-timers, like I imagine those people right there. And then many of them are rented out. And so we're renting. Our particular site has a 7-day minimum, 7-night minimum, and at $160 or whatever a night. That's kind of what you're looking at. A couple,
About $1,600 to stay here for the week.
So what do you get for that? So let's talk about that. So our particular site has tiles, concrete and then tiles placed along the base, so you don't have to deal with sand or anything else getting into the rig, which is really nice. Not all the sites are set up that way, so it's important to know. Okay, so on this area is where we had the Blackstone grill, but it was raining a minute ago, so we pulled that aside. All of the sites, well, I think just about all the sites, have these tiki huts. Now again, the owners of the lot are the ones putting this in and having this design, so they're all going to look a little different. Our particular one has kind of a sitting area, like a living room space, and then there's a dining room table space. This one has a fridge and a sink and a television. There is cable, but it's kind of limited, and it depends on where you are at on the little bay here as to which channels you get. A lot of cabinet space, but those are all locks, so that's just for the owner. We're not using any of that space, which is a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. The view out here is pretty incredible, so I can't lie about that. We are bayside. We paid extra to have a bayside spot. We kind of have this fake grass on the base, which has worked out well for the dog, so that's fine. I don't have to worry about our dog ruining their grass. And then they have two docks. They have the main dock, and then they have one of those kind of inflatable dock things that you could pull up a jet ski onto, or a very small boat without a large underside area, because the water over here is really shallow. It's probably, I can't quite touch when I jump in just from here, so it's pretty deep right here, but you don't have to go out very far. You might be able to see where the water lightens over there. That's only like 12 inches, so it's really shallow. So a lot of motorcraft you would be able to have out there, but what's really cool about that is that you can have your snorkels, and we actually had the paddle boat out there, the paddle board, and we were just laying on the paddleboard on our stomachs and then putting our heads underwater with the goggles and the snorkels, and you can see the anemones and all sorts of cool stuff. The coral, it's not the bright, beautiful colors you might expect on some areas, but you can totally see the coral. It was the kids' first chance to do some snorkeling and see all of the little sea creatures and the fish that are underwater. There's the overseas highway in the distance, and you do have highway traffic and noise from that throughout the day and through the evening. Here's a look up the coastline here of what the other sites look like. A lot of them are empty right now. This is a Tuesday. We had someone on our site over there when we first came in, but they were gone after the weekend. They were pretty nice. And then we had some people over here that I thought were full-timers because they were so set up, but they are gone today, which will make a nice time for the rest of our vacation. They were mean as could be. They had a dog that was barking often. They had a parrot or some sort of bird that was squawking, yet they left a note for us. For a couple hours we were gone, and the dog got in the front of the rig, and so she must have been looking out the window and barking, and I'm sure nobody else could hear it, but apparently the neighbor could, and left a mean little note about your dog never stops barking when we return to our car. So not necessarily a kid-friendly place. Not exactly the place you want to let your kids run around. It's very quiet around here. It's not a kind of party, family, community set out and have your campfire and your you know, drinking together and stuff like that. So generally it's an older crowd, it's a quieter crowd. The kids have been able to go to the pool and make a little bit of noise, but not exactly what we thought it would be. So I think my concluding remarks are that this is still the best place to go in your RV if you are traveling to Key West. We saw some of the other campsites, and this is by far the best for a lot of reasons. But just realize that it's not necessarily a super kid-friendly area or pet-friendly. They have what they call a dog park, but it's not enclosed, so you still have to have the dogs on a leash. You're not allowed to leave the dogs off of a leash, a 6-foot leash, the whole time they're in here. So even though we have this tiki hut and we have some space, and sometimes they're fully enclosed, you cannot let the dogs just be free roaming. So it's nice, but wasn't exactly what we thought it was going to be. So just so you know, that's a very honest review about Bluewater Key RV Resort.